Imagine the grand halls of Europe's oldest palaces, where chandeliers sparkle like frozen constellations, where history whispers from the walls, and where tradition reigns supreme. Now imagine this. Within those sacred halls, secrets are being hidden, secrets not of ancient kings and queens, but of a new generation of royals stepping into the spotlight. Because what if I told you that the fairy tale union between Spain's future queen, Princess Leonor, and Denmark's beloved Prince Christian, isn't as flawless as the world has been led to believe? What if beneath the golden crowns, the polished jewels, and the picture-perfect romance lies a palace war of secrets, sacrifices, and hidden fears? And here's the truth no one expected. This wedding, celebrated as Europe's most dazzling royal love story, has left behind trails of whispered betrayals, secret negotiations, and power struggles that few outside the palace walls could ever imagine. Tonight, we uncover them all. The world saw a love story. But behind the veil, the royals saw a battlefield. Princess Leonor, the shining star of Spain, and Prince Christian, Denmark's heir to the future, were expected to simply fall in love, smile for the cameras, and unite two thrones. But palace insiders reveal a much more complicated reality. From the very beginning, their courtship wasn't just about affection, it was about politics, dynasties, and the survival of monarchies in an era where crowns are questioned more than ever. When Leonor arrived at the Royal Military Academy in Zaragoza, the world applauded her as a future queen in training. But quietly, advisors close to her father, King Felipe, were already setting the stage for her future marriage. The question wasn't if she would marry a royal, it was which royal would secure Spain's legacy. Enter Prince Christian. Handsome, charming, and adored across Denmark, he seemed the perfect match. But the match wasn't as organic as fairy tales would suggest. It was orchestrated. And here lies the first bombshell. Palace records show secret correspondence between Spanish and Danish courtiers years before the public knew of Leonor and Christian's bond. Their relationship, it seems, was encouraged, if not engineered, to cement an alliance between Madrid and Copenhagen. But while the world cheered, Leonor struggled. Sources close to her circle describe a young woman torn between love and duty. Did she truly love Christian, or was she being asked to sacrifice her heart for Spain? Friends recall her moments of hesitation, quiet tears during late-night conversations, and doubts about whether destiny was really her choice. And yet, Christian, too, carried burdens of his own. In Denmark, he is adored as a prince of the people, but he knew that marrying Spain's future queen would thrust him into a lifetime of obligations foreign to his upbringing. For Christian, this wasn't just a marriage. It was the signing of a lifelong contract with another nation's destiny. So what really happened behind those palace walls in the weeks before the wedding? Here is where the secrecy deepens. Reports suggest that Leonor and Christian had disagreements about where they would live. Spain insisted that Leonor, as future queen, must remain rooted in Madrid. Denmark, however, feared losing their beloved prince to another throne. Imagine the tension, two monarchies tugging at the same marriage, each unwilling to let go. Some nights, insiders claim, Leonor was in tears, pleading for a life that could balance both families. But palace negotiations are never about feelings, they're about power. And the second bombshell. On the very eve of their engagement announcement, Leonor was presented with a confidential document outlining her future obligations. It specified where she would reside, how often she could travel, and even when her children, future heirs, would spend time in Denmark versus Spain. Her own life, mapped out not by her heart, but by the hands of advisors. Yet, what the world saw was only glamour. The proposal, dazzling diamonds, and radiant smiles. Cameras captured love, microphones caught laughter. But behind the locked palace doors, another reality played out. Arguments, compromises, and sacrifices disguised as romance. Now, let us step inside the wedding day itself. Thousands lined the streets, bells rang across Madrid, and the cathedral glowed with golden light. Leonor walked down the aisle in a gown said to be worth millions, her every step a symbol of Spain's proud history. Christian, standing tall at the altar, embodied Denmark's royal grace. Together, they seemed unstoppable. But even here, subtle tensions surfaced. Did you notice how Queen Letitia's smile looked more reserved than usual? Insiders say she had concerns about her daughter's future, fears that Leonor might be bound to a destiny not entirely her own. King Felipe, too, though beaming with pride, reportedly delivered a stern, private warning to Christian before the ceremony: she is Spain's crown, and she must never be overshadowed. The vows were spoken, the rings exchanged, and the world celebrated. But within the palace, whispers began almost immediately. Some questioned whether the marriage was built on genuine affection, or whether it was simply the last great royal alliance of modern Europe. And now we uncover the third bombshell. There are whispers of a secret pact, signed by both royal houses, detailing financial exchanges that supported the lavish wedding. Was this billion-dollar celebration funded purely by royal wealth, or did governments discreetly contribute, seeing the union as a diplomatic tool? The answer remains hidden, guarded within the vaults of both palaces. Yet, beyond the politics and the secrets, lies the most human truth of all. Leonor and Christian are still two young people trying to navigate love in the harshest spotlight imaginable. They smile for the cameras, wave to the crowds, and bear the weight of centuries on their shoulders. But when the doors close, when the jewels are set aside, they are simply Leonor and Christian, two hearts caught between desire and destiny. So, will this royal marriage endure? History teaches us that alliances built on politics often crumble under the weight of human emotion. And yet, there is hope. For those who know Leonor well say she possesses her father's strength, her mother's independence, and a determination unlike any queen before her. Christian, too, is said to carry the resilience of his grandmother, Queen Margrethe, and the warmth of his parents, Frederick and Mary. The wedding may have been filled with secrets, but the story is far from over. Already, speculation brews about their future. Where will they raise their children? Which throne will they ultimately serve? And will love prove strong enough to silence the whispers of doubt? For now, the palaces remain silent. The secrets remain hidden. But the world is watching. Because in the end, the marriage of Princess Leonor and Prince Christian is not just about two people, it's about the survival of monarchy itself in an era desperate for fairy tales yet hungry for truth. And perhaps that is the greatest secret of all. Beneath the crowns, beneath the robes, beneath the billion-dollar pageantry, they are not so different from us, searching for love, struggling with family, and longing for freedom in a world that demands sacrifice. The world saw perfection, but the palace walls know the truth. And tonight, you have heard the royal bombshell.